Hello and welcome to IPSX in Conversation. And today I'm joined by John Eley, who is the CEO of GoldenSource. Welcome, John. Tell us a little bit about the exchange experience that your company has, that you're bringing to IPSX and this solution for them.
Sure. So we have worked with participants of the capital markets for decades. We have a number of large exchanges, specifically the Australian Stock Exchange, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, with clearing organizations. So we really know this space quite well.
Why did you think that IPSX was a particularly good fit between your company and the exchange?
So I thought there were a host of reasons. And starting with, as I stated before, we've done business with exchanges for a long time. All we do and think about is mission critical operational data. You can't run an exchange without managing your data very, very carefully. And so organizationally, we felt we really understood who the exchange was, what they were trying to accomplish. We also felt structurally we were uniquely positioned to work with IPSX because while when they were beginning, they were and continue to be a startup, their aspirations are enormous. And they knew when they were designing their tech stack, when they were building out their topography, that they needed to work with vendors who were both nimble enough to deal with what they were doing today and to solve their problems, help work with them to solve their problems, but also could scale and grow with them over time. And so we looked at that and we felt we were really uniquely positioned and frankly, very excited to work with them.
So you touched on the scalability there. What do you think the future possibilities of this market are?
Well, I think they're enormous because, you described it very well just a few minutes ago. What IPSX is trying to do is create another asset class, which is always exciting. But then is also trying to create liquidity in a market where there is no liquidity. If you own a piece of commercial real estate in downtown London, you may be very, very happy, but if you want to raise some money, sell a bit of it, diversify, it's very, very difficult to do. And so, the fact that they're going after this market is super exciting. Now, the current focus, as I understand it, is largely in the UK and expanding into Europe, but this is obviously a global opportunity. I mean, there's commercial real estate everywhere, and the way most commercial real estate is held, there's not a lot of diversification and there's no liquidity. So, as they grow and as they expand, it is a super exciting opportunity.
Well, tell us a little bit about the infrastructure, the technological infrastructure that's at the core of this market. Obviously, you're needing to connect the issuers, the investors, the buyers, the sellers, the market makers, and the regulators. Just tell us a little bit about how that works.
So the piece of the infrastructure, so as I mentioned a minute ago, IPSX has built an infrastructure that is designed to scale. And so they've worked with some world-class vendors. Obviously, they worked with GoldenSource. And again, our customers are some of the largest exchanges, banks, asset managers in the world. They also work with Cinnabar for a lot of their infrastructure and other really top-tier vendors. So they built it with the intention of growing and with the intention of being absolutely industrial scale, world-class stability, et cetera. The piece that we provide is their security master. So the core creation and description of all of the securities they're going to trade. We also provide their entity master, and that is a description of issuers who are the owners of the property that are going to issue them and then do what I would think of as an IPO. Initial public offering, but then it's also going to capture the names of the market participants once it's traded. So those would be the buyers and the sellers and the market makers who are actively trading these new securities. So that's called what we call our security master. The next piece which we provided for them is our market data solution, and that's the management of pricing, not front office trading pricing, but pricing for middle and back office purposes. And then the last piece is our regulatory reporting infrastructure. So that is the collection of all trades, post-trade, the analysis, and then the publishing of that data for regulatory reporting purposes. Obviously, all of this is enormously important. And You want to make sure you need to know the description of your security, who your customers and counterparties are, who your issuers are. And of course, after all of this, you need to make sure you're reporting to the regulators in a correct and proper way. If not, at any step of the way, you could have real problems.
So what's the operational state of the system for the IPSX exchange?
So IPSX, it's in production. They're operating, and our systems are all in complete production status.
And they've all been tested and ready to go?
They have all been tested and retested and retested and ready to go. With any organization that's trading, you're playing with live ammunition. You don't want to go into production with anything that has not been fully tested. With an exchange, which is a core piece of market infrastructure, that is doubly or triply true. And so the testing, we've seen what IPSX has done, and it's been quite thorough and quite impressive. And we obviously have tested quite heavily too.
Thank you very much for taking the time to join us today and explain about GoldenSource.
You're welcome. And thank you for taking the time to speak with us also. We do appreciate the opportunity.